Welcome to Parev TV. As always, we are excited to share with you information about the Armenian community throughout the world. And today joining us is George Yakubian, who is the founder of the Society of Orphaned Armenian Relief and executive board chairman of the society, along with his sister, Kim Yakubian, who is a consultant in the group. Our topic will be to find more about the society that is dedicated to works with orphans and the needy. George, my first question, as I was reading about your organization, is how were you able to successfully find the organization 15 years ago, 2005, and what was the secret of your success?
Good morning, Vartan. Thank you for having us. So my oldest daughter is adopted from Armenia. So she was the impetus for SOAR. We went through the adoption process in 2005 and early 2006, and it was on one of the trips to Armenia when we were going through the adoption process that I had the opportunity to visit several of the orphanages, saw the conditions, and realized that a charitable organization that was devoted exclusively to orphan children is something that the Armenian community needed. So in late 2005, I did some research. I realized that there wasn't any other organization whose mission was devoted exclusively to orphan relief. We founded SOAR in the fall of 2005. We established over the course of the last 15 years fantastic relationships with the orphanage directors, with the Ministry of Labor and Social Affairs, the Ministry of Education in Armenia, and little by little we've grown to a fairly sizable organization over the course of the last 15 years.
You know, your work is not necessarily in Armenia. It's any Armenian anywhere in the world. Am I right?
So our mission very broadly is to provide humanitarian relief to orphaned Armenian children and orphaned adults with disabilities. In Armenia, the age of 18, which is the age of majority, is fairly meaningless for us because there are orphaned, special needs orphan children who will age out of some orphanages, but then transfer to other residential care facilities, and we care for them. When we first started SOAR in 2005, we were working with 15 orphanages in Armenia. Mm-hmm. And then maybe about 3 or 4 years later, we moved outside of Armenia, and today we help 39 institutions, orphanages, special boarding schools, orphan summer camps, day centers in Armenia, Artsakh, Javakh, Lebanon, and Syria. We also in Armenia have our own transitional center. We opened that in December of 2019. It is a residential facility for older teenage girls who have outgrown the traditional orphanage, mm-hmm. but who are not yet ready for independent living. So they come to us as 18, 19-year-old high school graduates, orphaned girls with no place to go. And they work with us. They'll hopefully stay with us for 4 years through college. And by the time they're 22, 23 years old, be ready to move on.
That's very, very impressive. Kim, I know when we first spoke earlier this week, it had to do with a 8-month-old Ada Keshishyantz. Am I right?
Yes, Ada Keshishyantz, yeah.
Honestly, I heard first time about Ada from you, and I'm sure many of our viewers will be hearing about her from you also in this interview.
What you're viewing right now is a video of Ada Keshishyant's father. The footage is of Ada with her father, with her brothers and sisters, and the family. But in the video, the father is reciting to his daughter a poem that he wrote to her. This family is located in Russia. This child is very special. As George was explaining, every week, SOAR is fundraising for children in Armenia and all across the world that are orphaned. However, this particular child is very special because she has a life-threatening condition and her mortality could be up in about 2 years, and she's already 8 months old. So SOAR has launched a global campaign to assist the family in raising monies for a drug that's called Zolgensma. It is exorbitant. It's almost criminal, but it's $2 million. The family so far has raised 1.1 million, and SOAR has launched a global campaign throughout the month of June to raise another $1 million. So any support we can give for this child and this family is crucial. I mean, it's literally a matter of life and death for this baby.
You know, Kim, I honestly, when I heard the 2 million amount, I could not believe it. It's such an exorbitant amount. How can this be allowed for a drug or a medication to be this expensive? And what do we expect of? What are the chances of her survival?
Yeah, I mean, I know that the cost is so expensive because it's a gene therapy drug, but I think I'd like George to comment on that a little bit more because I know he is more in the details with that.
George, tell us.
So Zolgensma is expensive, like other pharmaceutical prescription medications are expensive because Novartis is the only one who's manufacturing it.
I see.
They have cornered the market the way that that other suppliers corner markets, and they spent a lot of money on research. I've been told it's expensive to manufacture, and thus the $2.1 million price tag. The challenge, of course, is, and we've been in touch with Novartis, it's actually a subsidiary of Novartis called Avexis that is responsible for manufacturing Zolgensma. We actually have a meeting with them, a call with them tomorrow afternoon, but to this point, it's like getting a runaround. Because there is also a subsidiary of Avexis Novartis in Russia, and when we try to reach out to them about being flexible with the price, could they lower it for us? Would they accept some sort of payment plan? The US-based Novartis says you have to talk to Russia Novartis. Russia Novartis says, well, the US company sets the price, we can't lower it. So we're kind of in this catch-22 at this point. And so what we're trying to do is attack this from multiple fronts. I think the best thing we can do is just keep plugging along, and hopefully we'll get to the $2.1 million. If we can get there, then there won't be any need, or certainly less need, for negotiations. We're exploring other options too. There's a possibility of bringing Ada and her parents here to the US so that she can receive treatment here. That would make things, I think, a little bit easier in terms of negotiating with US-based Novartis and Avexis about the price. But at this point, our primary goal right now is just to get the word out about her condition, emphasize to everybody that this is an ongoing collection, that yes, we've raised somewhere between 1.1 and 1.2 million dollars, but we still have about $1 million to go.
Kim, our mission here with this interview is to get the word out, as George so beautifully said. In closing, what would you like your words to be for people viewing this? What is your message in closing?
I mean, imagine if this was your child, your baby. I mean, she's only 8 months old. I mean, she hasn't even had a chance. This is an Armenian baby. I mean, imagine if it was your family. They're doing the family as much as they can to raise these monies. It feels like such an impossible situation. We know that this climate has been difficult all around the world with COVID, as well as political issues. And we know that Many families even connected to SOAR around the world have had troubles, but every donation counts. Every amount counts, as small or as large as it can get. We would appreciate your considering Ada in your giving this year. Again, we've dedicated the month of June to fundraise for her, and you can just go to our website, soar-us.org, and you can easily find the information about her campaign. And if you have any questions, you can just contact us through there.
George, as Kim said, there is difficulties all around the world these days. I don't want to go into the political and social difficulties in Armenia. What is your message? What is your closing remarks for people?
I'm going to echo what Kim said, and this is a child who hasn't even celebrated her first birthday yet. Mm-hmm. So it's difficult for me to even talk about it, but if the Armenian community could come together, we are halfway to what is a very high goal. We think we can reach it. We need small donations. We need 5- and 6-figure donations to be able to get to $2.1 million. I personally have seen this child live. I have spoken to her parents. They are wonderful people. They are doing everything that they can do. And now it's simply up to us and Armenian supporters around the world to try to come together and save this child's life.
George and Kim, your heart is in this mission. And George, as you said in the opening remarks, your child is adopted from Armenia, and you know what you have gone through and what life means to you and to the family. And all we can say is we pray that you succeed in your mission. And thank you very much for giving us the time to talk to you.
Thank you, Vartan, for having us.
Thank you, Vartan.
Thank you.